It looks like WWE have officially given up on Carmelo Hayes and his main roster run as he made his return to NXT on the September 9th edition in what can only be described as a demotion. I'm going to talk about that, and I'm also going to talk about some pretty major news that Triple H broke about Wrestlepalooza later in the month, the show that will be going head-to-head with AEW All Out. All that and much more coming up right here in this video. I'm Big Omer Q. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Let's dive the hell in and talk about this Carmelo Hayes nonsense is what I'm going to call it, because that is what it is. Carmelo Hayes was once presumed to be one of WWE's biggest upcoming stars. We had very high hopes for Carmelo Hayes. All of us really believed that when push came to shove, he was going to be among the acts to lead WWE in the next generation. Of course, we understand it's Cody's time. Roman just ended his large and prominent role at the top of the company. But eventually, you got to make room for the younger guys, the stars that inspire a lot of the newer wrestling fans, like the Braun Breakers, like the Carmelo Hayes, like the Trick Williams, right? It makes all the sense in the world, yet that is not what WWE is doing. Instead, we get stuff like this. And I'm going to talk about why we get this in a second, but first, look at this. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams have reunited to face DIY next week on NXT Homecoming at Full Sail. So, obviously, NXT, they are having this really big return to Full Sail show. They're calling it NXT Homecoming. It is being built up as a major show, and for that, you would presume they would have some major acts. Okay, one can kind of view this maybe as, all right, well, they have a big NXT show that they want to sell. They have a star. They want a star-studded roster potentially for that show. Totally get it. That's totally understandable. At the same time, though, Carmelo Hayes is not someone that you bring down in order to give a boost and an attraction to this show. Because, look, they don't need to sell tickets. Those tickets are already sold. It's Full Sail. It's NXT. That is on site. That's going to happen, right? But for them to bring back Carmelo Hayes, to me, does not read as, we're bringing this main roster star back down to give fans a glimpse of nostalgia or whatever, because number one, Carmelo Hayes was literally in NXT as recently as last WrestleMania season, and number two, he's a fairly new act in WWE in the past couple of years. So let's not pretend like this is akin to Sami Zayn coming back a couple of years ago for a quick run in NXT. Let's not pretend this is the same as a Finn Balor returning to NXT when he did. It is not the same fundamentally. Two very different things. And the reason why I grow concerned is also because he wasn't the only person who was seemingly demoted back down to NXT, because we also had Grayson Waller, who posted the following, a screenshot of his phone, his old boss, Shawn Michaels, calling, all right? So, what do Grayson Waller and Carmelo Hayes have in common? In my view, it's very obvious. They are both two dudes who had a lot of expectations, had a lot of potential a couple of years ago when they were called up to the main roster, yet none of that is materialized. And when you have a star, a bona fide stud, the likes of Carmelo Hayes, and then someone who can talk for days, who can keep up with the best of them in Grayson Waller, as a fan watching it, it makes me think, what is the issue? What is the disconnect? And if it boils down to one thing, it is that WWE does not do a good job of building up young stars. They do not. It is a product of the long-term storytelling / drawn-out storytelling that they are prone to do. It is a product of their over-reliance on nostalgia and aura farming, which predisposes them to go after and make sure that older stars have a higher quantity of appearances on the show. It is a product of the impatience they have with young talent, because if they're not immediately over, then they don't really see a need to invest that time in them. There used to be a time where you would have young talent appear, tell very simple but meaningful storylines to endear them to a brand, to endear them to the fan base. That has not happened with either Carmelo Hayes nor Grayson Waller. They've given up on both of them. It's very clear. If you watch the show every week, week in, week out, they are not mainstays. They are not, most weeks they're not even on television. Carmelo Hayes' most recent thing was feuding with The Miz. What are we doing? What in God's name are we doing? Carmelo Hayes, someone who is the future, or should be the future of this business, feuding with The Miz? Doesn't make any sense to me. In fact, it makes zero sense. WWE is incapable of building up these younger stars because of everything I just said, but also, and this is the real cherry on top, look at the main event scene in WWE. Cody Rhodes, late 30s. Roman Reigns, late 30s. Seth Rollins, late 30s. LA Knight, if you want to say he's in the main event scene, he's just in a world title match at the last pay-per-view. 40s. Drew McIntyre, 40s. CM Punk, 40s. That male main roster scene right now, there's not a lot of room for younger talent. That's why you're only seeing one person get the rocket strapped to him in the figurative way, and that is Braun Breaker. There's just not that many opportunities available to younger talent. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. And unless WWE decides to prioritize the younger talent, I think that's just the way it's going to be. It's very sad. It's very unfortunate, but that's where we are. Speaking of main event talent, though, because there was a massive announcement that Triple H made on the Pat McAfee show today, where he confirmed that Cody Rhodes will be back in Indianapolis for Wrestlepalooza. It was speculated that Cody might miss it. It was speculated that Cody Rhodes may be in a world title match. We didn't really know. We have not seen Cody ever since a beatdown occurred a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown. And it would make total sense for the person, if he's going to be in a match, for him to face Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes makes the most sense. You're looking at this show, Wrestlepalooza, you're trying to build it up to be as big as it could possibly be. You're probably going to end the night with that disgraceful, disgusting match of Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. I want you to guess which part I think is disgusting personally, but that's besides the point. But you're going to end with that. You're definitely going to have or you're planning to have the Io Sky match there for with Stephanie Vaquer. We'll see if that ends up happening. But Cody was always up in the air. I think the way they're probably going to play this is Cody and Drew, start off the night, and then you end it with the Brock Cena match, because that's like the big attraction match they're probably going to want to push. But we will see. But Triple H confirming that Cody will be back in Indianapolis for Wrestlepalooza. So interesting stuff. I want to hear from you guys, though, in the comment section below. What do you guys think of this? Is WWE making the right decision by sending talent who aren't used on the main roster down to NXT? Or do you think, like me, it's a bit of an infinite loop? You send them down to NXT. Well, what's going to happen to the next crop of NXT talent? My view, just give people more time on TV. It is not that hard. You got the TV time for it. But let me know in the comment section, though, what you guys think. Also, be sure to smash that thumbs up like there's no tomorrow. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. And until next time, I'm Omer Q. Big Ohm. Keep it real, everyone. Bye.